You are listening to the ReRACEables Podcast.
Give you a nice little detour.
Good evening and welcome back to the ReRACEables Podcast for season 37, episode 6. I am your host, Tom, and I am joined by two of my favorite people on this planet. Josh, what's up, Josh?
How's it going?
And Nicole, welcome in once again.
Thank you.
Folks, we are here. We're all here back together again, and we are talking season 37, episode 6.
What an episode. My favorite of the season thus far.
Wow.
From start to finish, I loved it. I loved the location, was beautiful, interesting, unique. I enjoyed traveling there through the eyes of Amazing Race. I thought the challenges were fun and exciting. I loved the competitiveness at the end. It was exciting. I cried at one point. It had it all.
Wow, a ringing endorsement. Josh, did you feel this way watching the episode?
Yeah, I would agree. It was a great episode, and it's really showing off to be a really great season. We knew going into it that the producers were throwing everything at the wall to see if this franchise is worth really continuing to invest in, and it's paying off. It's really exciting. And we brought back the fast forward. So exciting.
Shout out Fast Forward.
Shout out.
It's back. I agree. I love this episode. For the 6th straight episode, I said, why don't we just go to, and fill in the blank, in this case, why don't we go to Dubai and just do exactly what they did? Let's go see Wiz Khalifa, the tallest building in the world, and be confused. Let's drive past camels on the side of the road and keep thinking that the deer we see on the side of the road is a big deal when there's freaking camels on the side of the road. Are you kidding me?
Amazing. I had no idea that. I don't know how long they were driving, but the fact that they were in insanely populated city and then in a desert was really, really amazing.
The fast forward into the giant tank and the giant scuba tank, that was amazing. Skydiving, deep diving Dubai, the tea time, the Hotel Atlantis, the Royal. Literally, everything they did, we should just book the trip now. Shout out Expedia. Sponsor us. Send us to Dubai. We'll film it. We'll run the exact leg of the race. It'll be amazing.
Please, because I don't think we could ever actually afford to stay at that hotel.
Let's keep this train of enjoying the heck out of this Dubai leg going. What was your favorite part of the leg?
Skydiving. How much fun was the skydiving? I mean, I love the challenges and I love the back and forth, but really, there's nothing better than seeing a new place, watching people enjoy it, watching people love it, and wanting to see yourself in them. And I think we have such a great season of cast that I see myself in all of them. And you put yourself, well, maybe not Jonathan. I do not see myself in Jonathan, but But still, you're feeling for Alyssa in the air where she's saying how much she loves Josiah and she can't wait to see him when he gets down, and he won't see that until he saw it last night, right? That's so sweet. And even the same Josiah, almost crying while he's standing on the ground, hoping that Alyssa's going to be okay. Just such good television, such good moments, such humanity, right? It's really, really beautiful to see that.
I'll go a more subtle moment. I love the skydiving, but I'll go a subtle moment with the 5:10 in the morning camel ride group. I mean, just seeing them sitting on the camels, the whole process of getting the camel standing up, sunrise
Off of
was,
its backwards elbows.
yeah. You're in a desert on a camel. You're having your Lawrence of Arabia moment. It's sunrise, so it's just beautiful. And oh, by the way, there was a very stark contrast between the 510 group having that experience, and then 10 minutes later, the other group, the sun was fully up and it looked like sun was blazing. And the moment that first group had was so serene and so beautiful. I just appreciated that. And I know the simple things like a sunrise or a sunset and catching that. Whenever you're doing that in life, you're living. And it's so simple, but it's so incredible. And I guarantee you those teams will not forget that camel ride sunrise. It was awesome.
Yeah. I really thought the fast forward was interesting, where they're deep diving in this place that created an underworld city. Never even knew something like that existed.
Right.
And it was so interesting to see. Like, what a cool thing to do.
And to go there in an orange luxury car,
Doesn't hurt.
rolling.
I think that's very Dubai of them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I guess that's part of the design of the leg and the show, right? Is Dubai is just, wow, everything's new. Luxury car. The hotel looks like an expensive set of Legos that were built, like a Lego tower, and world-class chef that you're making pastries for, and the most pristine-looking ocean and everything, the setting from the skydive, and the museum. What did they go to? Oh, the Museum of the Future.
90 swimming pools.
Yeah, 17 restaurants and bars.
Right. Skydive Dubai, deep dive Dubai, 200-foot diving, scuba diving pool that was 6 football fields deep with a sunken city and all this stuff. Wow, wow, wow.
Yes, I think you're totally right. But I do want to bring up, do you think they really got Dubai? Do you think they really understood the culture of Dubai? I feel like these are all things that we might want to do, that I would absolutely want to do. But are we learning about the people of Dubai or the culture of Dubai?
No.
You don't think so? I disagree.
I think we're learning about a side of Dubai.
Yes, yes.
The flashiness of Dubai, the luxury of Dubai, but I'm sure that's not all there is to Dubai.
Well, don't forget the money. This is like money.
Yeah.
New money.
Yeah,
This is like new money on steroids, Vegas reimagined, looking into the future.
Incomprehensible amount of money.
That's a great word for it.
Thank you.
one thing I noticed is when they were skydiving, the skydive instructors looked totally white.
Yeah.
And at that moment is when I said, wait a second, are we in Dubai, or is this like a little bit of a tourist ad for the white people in the US to go there?
Even the surfers.
Yeah.
The what was that thing called? Hydrofoiling? They all sounded like South Africans.
Yeah, South African or Australian.
So maybe there is a big diverse population of people kind of from all over going there because it's this new money and
Up and coming place.
up and coming, and go out there, set up shop, move there, opportunity, build your business at Burj Al Arab Public Beach.
It's a nice beach.
But they don't just have surfboards there. They don't just have boogie boards, or nobody's just body surfing.
No.
They're in hydrofoils where they're literally almost taking off. I don't know how those things work, but it's crazy. But it just felt very Dubai. And so I think in that way, Josh, I think we did get a sense of the culture of that city. But you're right, Nicole. I think it was more of just the flash and only one side of it.
I think that a big part of it is people's like religion, and like I think that plays like a very large role in their lives, and that wasn't
Right.
touched upon at all.
How did that city get built?
Yeah, where did that money come from?
Yeah, like, is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
maybe there's a side that we didn't see for a good reason. I
Yeah.
was also wondering, and maybe this is just my ignorance, but I was wondering if, like, in any of the places, would the women have to cover their heads or something like that? But they didn't appear to have to do that.
They didn't have to do that, but they have done that in other seasons of Amazing Race. They've had to go into temples or places that they've all had to like not see their sleeves or cover their hair.
I kind of was expecting that. And I feel like the only version of that we got was the whole you can't run thing. Is
Yeah.
that fair to say?
I mean, that's totally different, but yes,
No, it is totally different, but it's some
restriction.
restriction, respect, cultural thing. Because if you're in New York City, guess what? Everybody would have been sprinting down to that train, and Pops and Jeff would have made it.
Yeah.
And I guess that goes back to like, did we actually go to Dubai or did we go to what Dubai wants us to see of Dubai?
It's a great question. I don't know that we'll know. Hopefully we can get somebody from the race on the podcast and we'll get a little bit more. But regardless, the Dubai we did see, I wouldn't mind seeing that Dubai. So, right? I mean, huh? Okay, so everything in this episode wasn't all great per se. It did make great television, but there was, with the great, the bad, somebody had to get eliminated. But even the way that Pops and Jeff were eliminated was about as good a way that we as viewers could ever want an episode to end.
They didn't need to do any mysterious editing. It really was down to a foot race. I loved it. It was great.
And the whole episode felt that way. It very much felt back to back. They were all competing at the exact same times. I made a note that I missed those taxi races. I missed when you had a slow taxi driver and you're saying, "Go, go, go, go! We have to win $1 million." And I think that was exciting to see, and that added to the excitement of the episode.
Yeah, I wrote that note down too. I wrote taxi anxiety. Welcome back.
Yes.
Right? And though there's probably a good chance that those people are not actually driving faster, and you can't help but think, like, would I be that crazy? Would I be that
You would.
insane?
Yes, I'll answer that right now. You would be awful.
I guess it just comes with the territory, but that's what was great about it, right? How about the fact that when Jeff goes to like put his arm in the door of the train to try to get the door to open again so he can read the station map across, and it's like, nope, closed. They literally would have remained in the race.
Yep. He just literally needed 3 seconds more to make sure that he was in the right spot. Find a sign that says platform 1 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then he would have like had more confidence walking through that door, not hesitating.
Yeah, it's a tough break, but they're two people that haven't gotten out of the country. They're from the middle of the country. Two lumberjacks from the middle of the country in St. Louis. Like, yeah, what are you doing in Dubai knowing where to go? That you don't. And that's the humanity in the season and these two people, in that I probably would have panicked too. I've not been to Dubai. I don't know what platform I'm on. but it's a tough break, and then they were battling it out. And what two more evenly matched teams than Pops and Jeff and Nick and Mike? Like, you could flip a coin and I bet it's 50-50 who gets to that finish line first almost every time. So that's what made it a great episode.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget about the challenge before it, the Route Info challenge at the Hotel Atlantis, the Royal, where they had to be precise and delicate and put together the different pastries to present to the chef. And what happened?
For detail.
And what happened?
They dropped the cupcake.
And it cost them time. There's no more Mark and Larry's or Jackie and Lauren's. And when you're just the brute strength physical challenge team and a Route Info challenge that requires delicateness. Pops and Jeff, I had them ranked 13th, second to last. I was way off on them. I misjudged Pops for his age. That guy is unbelievable.
Talk about Pops.
We're talking about him.
What a man. Good looking, fit as hell.
Guy is yoked at 65.
It's those abs. My God.
Shout out Pops' abs.
But also humble, right? The guy just seems like a genuine guy, shook everyone's hand, said thank you, and just wouldn't stop talking about skydiving because it was one of the things he always wanted to do in life. He is just such a likable guy.
And at one moment during the show, when he mentioned like, "Oh, the only thing left for me to do is bungee jump," I turned to Tom and said, "Foreshadowing?" But no, he will not, at least on Amazing Race. He'll have to do that on his own dime.
Oh, I got a strong feeling that there's a bungee jumping video from Pops and Jeff, the Lumberjacks, coming soon to an Instagram near you.
Yeah.
But can I just add one more thing? And this was my favorite part about Pops and Jeff. It's their relationship. Pops, it seems like an incredible father. Seems like an incredible role model that like Jeff obviously worships and idolizes his father. And like that was really refreshing to spend 6 episodes with.
I think they just didn't have the wit, right? Like they were smart and they were good. They were solid, but they weren't like. And I really like Jeff. I think I could get a beer with him like on a Friday night, but I don't know if he was the strong-witted person that's going to carry a parent-child relationship to the end.
Exactly what you're describing is the reason that a Melinda and Erica are still in it, and that Pops and Jeff are not.
Totally right. Yeah.
Because as much as we've heard Jeff rightfully just showing and telling us how much he loves his pops and how much that relationship matters for both of them, they both expressed that. Erica's like narrating like, "Oh, Mom, you have this situation and you would have handled it this way." And clearly she's the type A and steering the ship.
Yeah.
So the foot race literally came down to, 50 feet? And Pops just couldn't hang. I think that was the one thing that we did get right on them and why we couldn't put them even further up. I again, hand up. I got them wrong. I had them 13th. But the reason I had them that low was that I did bet against their, the age of Pops and that going against them. And I think in the foot race, it looks like he's probably had a knee replaced. Pops is 65. It's tough for Pops to run and outrun Nick and Mike, 2 30-somethings. Come on.
You know what I also loved? The preemptive inhaler puff in the train, waiting for the doors to open. It was great.
Yeah, shout out Mike and shout out inhalers.
Shout out asthmatics.
Yes, just keeping people in the Amazing Race. What's up with Nick and Mike?
I don't really know why they're not strong. I don't really have a good answer. They just are lacking in a little bit of every category. Like, they're just not that quick. They're just not that smart. They're just not that witty. They're just not that together. They just don't have it. And I still haven't been able to put my nose on what it is.
And it's like on paper, they've got it all.
Yeah.
They should be this dominating team, and they're just not. And I agree. It's hard to put your finger on why.
Are they too similar? Like there's no alpha and beta. There's no leader and follower. I know Mike said like, oh, I'm glad Nick's doing this. He's more athletic. So there was a little bit of like a step back there, but
they're essentially the same person. I said to you, I can't tell them apart. And they're not twins.
No.
But they're just the same person.
I just think that they just don't have it. But they have enough it to keep going.
They're still in it.
They're still in it, kind of somehow.
That's all you have to do is literally just keep placing, not last, because in the end, though this is the season of surprises, that fact has remained.
Yeah, I mean, except the double U-turn. I do think that really set them up for a disadvantage. There are some U-turns that aren't that bad to complete both, but this was a tough one. They didn't even have a shot last week.
Yeah, and it immediately put those two teams in the position of you're fighting for last.
Correct.
Yeah. Last thing, let's talk about the fast forward. It's back.
I liked it. Would have loved to have seen someone do like permanent change to their body, like a tattoo or something. But I really, like I said before, I really liked this scuba challenge. That was fun.
They were the only team to go.
Right. Why wasn't there a second car? Like, where was the competition?
Yeah, that was my only qualm about it. I didn't feel like they actually did anything to get the fast forward. Like, there was no risk.
Right.
It's kind of like, oh, they just went and did it, and that's great. Cool. I love it, and I love the fast forward, so I'm glad it's back.
And it's not like they were gonna not find the glowing fast forward sign on the pool table.
Where's the risk?
If there's a second luxury orange car, or if it's a self-drive, there's a little risk there.
It would have been cool if there were two teams looking for the sign.
Right.
Well, because then if you don't get it, you're actually putting yourself in the back of the pack, which is interesting. There's a high risk situation.
Yeah, I agree.
I also was kind of interested in how much the reward was there, because it didn't feel like they were that far ahead of anyone else. So they're not really starting with a lead next episode. And they didn't get to surf. Like,
yeah,
oh, that's a bummer. You know, I feel like maybe it was the first time we saw the fast forward. There was something about literally they did the fast forward and then got on a helicopter and flew past everyone literally to the finish line. And that feels so much more substantial and like exciting for everyone to be like, oh, damn, look at them go. Versus, I mean, I guess that was the idea behind the car, but.
Yeah, and it was cool to see them like pull away, and then you see the big thing in the parking space, fast forward in progress. But it would have been cooler to see two cars and then see game on.
Yeah.
I think the show was going for up in the air, in the water, under the water. Mm-hmm. See Dubai from all levels. And that's why I think ultimately they designed it that way. And the idea, I think, was too, it did kind of match at least the Dubai we saw in that it was luxury. Luxury car. Don't even have to worry about it. Go to this ridiculous deep dive Dubai place that is going to wow you. And you're going to, by doing all of this, you're doing it alone, you're getting private training, and you're going to be in this place that's unlike any other, and you're going to receive this reward that will bring you right to the finish line, like the royalty in the race that you are.
That was great, Tom.
Thank you.
What do you think? Was it a hit or was it a miss?
I think it was an ode to like the old school fans. People love the fast forward because it's a sense of what was, but we're going to put it in this futuristic city, and it looked cool. Overall, I'm happy to see it. I like that it creates kind of this tangent storyline, decelerating from the panic and the anxiety of the race. And those guys were, Carson and Jack, were just like, woo, we're on the fast forward, and like we're in luxury, and we found the orange car before everyone. Yes. And then they're like, you're getting these amazing underwater camera angles, and you're in that scuba tank with them. I thought that was just, for that, I was so happy they did it, but I wish it was more difficult. I wish it was a little more risk.
Maybe they only had budget for one luxury Dubai car. I mean, this leg had to have been significantly more costly than any other leg they've ever done.
I think the Dubai that they were selling, you're buying.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it was. I don't know. Was it that?
Who was the housewife on Traders who was from Dubai? Real Housewives of Dubai. I had her in the back of my head this whole episode.
Iman was her name or something like that?
Ayan.
Yeah. Yeah.
That like robot alien woman.
Yeah, she was static. She wasn't around very long. Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler. Shout out Traders.
This seemed like a bit of a travel ad. I wouldn't be surprised if Dubai picked up some of the cost of this.
Yeah.
So maybe it was the least expensive then.
Maybe.
They were like, yeah, come on. We'll show you all of our beautiful city has to offer.
That being said, it worked. Right?
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm in on Dubai.
All right, let's go to our power rankings. Quite a shakeup in the power rankings. Josh was in first place after episode 5, but that is no longer true. I had Pops and Jeff in the 13 spot, which is a big number to come off the board for me. So that jumps me up into first place with a low of 34 points. I've got my top 5 and 6 out of the top 7 remaining. Feeling pretty good, but Josh is right there, only 3 points behind. And Nicole is in a, should we say, a distant third?
It's distant.
If we're re-ranking right now, who's your number 1, who's your number 2 team?
The 4 teams that I can see in the final 4 are Jonathan and Anna, Carson and Jack, Brett and Mark, and Alyssa and Josiah. Meaning, I think in the next 3 episodes, we lose Melinda and Erica, we lose Han and Holden, and we lose Nick and Mike. Those are the 3 worst out of the group.
I agree completely.
And so you're looking at Brett and Mark, Alyssa and Josiah, Jonathan and Anna, and Carson and Jack. I think any one of those teams can win. I do.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I still would put Brett and Mark number 1.
Wow.
I'm a little biased, but I think Carson and Jack would have to be number 2. And I think Alyssa and Josiah would have to be number 3 because I think they've literally come in third place every single leg. So they're right where they should be. But the biggest drop off, and we talked about it earlier, is Nick and Mike. We totally overranked them. They should be. It seems like their time is coming. Let's cross the finish line.
Prediction. We've been to some really beautiful destinations here.
Mm-hmm.
Through Japan, Dubai. I think it's time for a not so pleasant destination.
Uh-oh.
I think this season is missing some India. I would love to see Jonathan in India.
Brutal.
On one of those jam-packed trains. Oh, it'd be great.
Shout out India.
I have two small things for my crossing the finish line. One of them is in the structure of the race, and I think since during COVID, they really made everything happen in a day. It's very much like you start every episode in the morning. They do two things, and then by the end of the day is when they're in a new location. And I think that's interesting, and I'm actually buying into it because I think they've kept it for this season. I do think that it keeps the structure of the game pretty fair. I do kind of miss those times that they get to a challenge and have to sleep outside or have to wait, or even just seeing the discrepancy in the arrivals of times. I feel like everyone is pretty close in time all the time. But I do think that planning is really, really difficult. You have to plan challenges that are hard enough and interesting enough for TV, but also fit in a couple hours each challenge. And then the other thing is that we finally get driving. They're going to be driving next episode, and a double. Did he say another double U-turn?
Double U-turn.
Is that exhausting or is that exciting? I don't know. We'll see.
I'll cross the finish line. I can't believe that self-driving, and I get it, it's a stick shift. I get it. Because we come from a place that driving is so ingrained in our everyday life. It's how we see the world, and we're always driving ourselves somewhere. Just the idea that self-driving is this big ticket item blows my mind, and it always creates drama, and it exposes people, and I'm ready for it. I'm excited about it.
But I think it's less about the actual driving a stick shift and mechanics of that. I think it's more about the navigating without GPS. And like Melinda is one of the few people in this race left who lived in a time where she had to pull out a map and figure out where to go. The rest of them, who maybe they can do that, but they don't have as much experience as Melinda probably.
Yeah, it's a good point. Until next week, thank you, Josh. Thank you, Nicole, for being here. We'll be back next week right here on the ReRACEables Podcast to talk about Season 37, Episode 7. I think there's only 3 or 4 episodes left, folks. We're down to the final 7. So buckle up, self-drive yourself to your television on Wednesday, and then check in with us right here on the ReRACEables Podcast. We'll see you next week.